record. Okay, additional points about this is that once a cost has been expensed, it cannot be later reclassified as an asset, even if capitalization criteria are met. Okay, so you cannot reverse this process. Research phase and development phase apply to all types of internally generated intangible assets. Okay. Only costs directly related to creating the intangible and make it ready for its intended use or sale can be included. Has to be directly. Okay. The cost has to be directly attributable to the creation of this asset. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Okay. So here's the picture. Okay. So basically, you know, up to this point, there's the point. Okay. Up to this point, all the expenses, all the cost has to be expensed. Okay. And after this point, you can capitalize the cost until you have the asset ready. Okay, you have the asset ready. And then after you have a full product, any expenses has to be, any cost has to be expensed. Okay, what is this critical point? Can anyone tell me? What is this critical point?
When it's something you can actually sell?
So I think this is the point when something is going to sell.
Like
here.
this.
Like it's
The
Success.
6 criteria.
Very good. So this is the point. The 6 criteria is met, is satisfied. Okay. This is the point. All the 6 criteria are satisfied. Okay. Prior to this point, you have to expense all your cost. And after this point, before the product is completed, this is the capitalization. Okay. And after the product is completed, this is the you have to expense any further cost. Does this make sense?
Yep.
Here, I have a question.
Go ahead, Carla.
All right, so let's say that at that point where all the 6 criteria were met, let's say that, okay, they started capitalizing and then something changed, maybe technological advancement, and then that particular like the R&D, they had to stop it because some event happened and it was no longer viable due to new happenings. So what do they do to the capitalized cost?
Okay, very good question too. Yeah. So it's kind of what do you think about the other research teams now? So right now there are 2 companies in the US, right? They have their vaccines, right? And it's proven to be really successful. I think one vaccine has 90% success rate. The other one is like 95% succeed rate, right? What do you think about the other research projects in other countries? Do you think they are going to be still have a market for this, for their vaccine? They haven't have a vaccine yet, right? But do you think by the time they completed their development, do you think there's a market for them?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be.
Could be.
There's a lot of people that need the vaccine, so.
Okay, so you know, one company in US, they can produce 1.3 billion a year. No, sorry, I was wrong. One company, I think one company can produce. It's either 1 billion, 1.3 billion, or 0.13 billion a year, and the other one can do like 1 billion or 0.1 billion a year. Okay, how many populations in the world? We have like 80. We have 8 billion, right? Yeah, the world population is like 8 billion. Is that right?
Sure.
Okay.
Close.
Okay.
I think that's right.
Okay, but my point is, you know, depending how quickly these other companies can have their, you know, product successfully proven, right? You know, if it takes them like 2 or 3 more years, I think, you know, people will not wait, right? They will buy from these 2 companies, and they have enough capacities, production capacities. So by the time these other teams get their product vaccine, maybe all the people in the world has got their doses already, right? Do you know what I'm trying to say? So it's possible, right? You are competing with some other competitors, and they first get into the market. So then you're gonna ask yourself, right? You're gonna ask yourself this question, okay? Is there existence of a market for the output of your asset, right? If all the people have received the vaccination from the other 2 companies, they don't need to get another type of vaccine. You only need one type of vaccine, right? Does that make sense? So then the question is, what are you gonna do, right? If you are already capitalized, then you have to write it off as expenses, because, you know, you were wrong, because one of the criteria is not satisfied. You have better information. So now at this point, you realize, guess what? You know, one of the criteria is not satisfied. So I should not capitalize. So you have to write off this capitalized cost into expenses. Does that make sense?
What would happen if the company like the other company or like the other 2 companies that are projecting the amount of production they can do per year, like do not manage to actually pull it off? Is it worth waiting to see if they actually can produce what they say they will produce, and then like continue trying to do yours so that you can perhaps like still make it on time to like produce something?
Yeah, very good question. So this is why, you know, the accounting standards sometimes don't have a clear boundary, right? People say accounting is about gray, right? You know, it's a gray matter. That's true, right? Because a lot of times, you know, you just don't know what is the point, right? What do you mean by probable? Like 50%, 60%, 70%, right? What do you mean by reliability, right? So, and also like Carla mentioned, right? So, you know, at what point they really believe they lost their chance, right? So I think it requires a lot of judgment. The management will have to make assumptions. They have to estimate, right? What's the expected future benefits? And the auditors has to agree with them, right? Because these pharmaceutical companies, I'm sure they have to use audited financial reporting, right? So the auditor has to agree with their assumptions or estimations. Good question.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. Any other questions? What time is it? Is this time for a break? Let me take a look.
7:18.
Okay. Yeah, if you don't have any questions, please come back in 10 minutes. So 7:28.